Have you ever walked away from an argument, feeling like you're losing your mind? You know what you saw, you know what you heard, but the person you trust most has calmly told you it never happened. That dizzying sense of unreality isn't just a simple disagreement. It's a tactic. It's called gaslighting, and it's a slow-burning poison that systematically dismantles your reality. This video is about turning the lights back on. We're going to unmask this insidious form of psychological manipulation, show you exactly how it works, and give you the tools to reclaim your truth. The term gaslighting may sound modern, but it comes from a 1938 play and a famous 1944 film, Gaslight. In the story, a husband tries to drive his wife insane so he can steal from her. He subtly alters their environment, most notably by dimming and brightening the gas-powered lights in their home. When his wife notices the flickering lights, he insists she's just imagining it. He tells her she's forgetful and unstable, isolating her from anyone who might confirm her reality. Over time, she starts to believe him, and her world dissolves into a confusing fog, all orchestrated by the one person she should have been able to trust. This story gave a name to a very real and devastating form of emotional abuse. It's a pattern of behavior designed to make you doubt your own perception, your memories, and your judgment. It's a tool for control, used to erode your self-worth and make you dependent on your abuser. Today we understand that gaslighting isn't just a plot from an old movie. It's a recognized form of abuse that happens in romantic relationships, in families, and even in the workplace, leading to anxiety, depression, and trauma. Our goal here is to pull this tactic out of the shadows. We will explore the techniques a gaslighter uses, look at the psychological destruction it causes, and most importantly, provide a clear roadmap for you to fight back, heal, and rebuild. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And by the end of this, you will have the knowledge to prove it to yourself. The anatomy of gaslighting, what it is, and why it's done. So, what is gaslighting really? At its core, it's a form of psychological manipulation, where one person deliberately and systematically makes another question their own reality. It's not just lying. A lie is a simple denial of the truth. Gaslighting is far more sinister. It's a campaign to overwrite your truth with the manipulator's version of events. It's a direct assault on your mind. The key difference between a healthy disagreement and gaslighting comes down to intent and pattern. In a normal relationship, people can remember things differently. There's room for discussion and mutual respect. With gaslighting, the goal is control. The gaslighter isn't interested in what really happened. They're interested in establishing their version as the only version to maintain power. This is why it feels so crazy-making. You're not having a discussion. You're being subjected to a psychological siege. So, why do people do this? The reasons are complex, but they almost always boil down to a desperate need for control, often stemming from deep-seated insecurities or personality disorders. One of the most common drivers is narcissism. People with narcissistic traits have a grandiose sense of self-importance and a profound lack of empathy. Their fragile ego can't handle being wrong. When confronted with their own bad behavior, they don't apologize. Instead, they attack their partner's perception by making their partner believe they are the one who is confused or crazy. The narcissist skillfully deflects blame and preserves their flawless self-image. It's a twisted form of psychological self-defense. Control is another primary motivator. Gaslighting is an incredibly effective tool for creating dependency. By eroding a victim's self-trust, the abuser positions themselves as the sole authority on reality. The victim, no longer confident in their own judgment, starts to rely on the gaslighter for everything. This creates a massive power imbalance, where the victim feels powerless and trapped, while the abuser holds all the cards. In some cases, gaslighting can be a learned behavior. Someone who grew up where manipulation was common might replicate these patterns without being fully conscious of the harm they're causing. But whether it's intentional or not, the impact on the victim remains the same, a slow, steady erosion of their sense of self. Understanding these motivations is the first step toward taking back your power. It helps you see that gaslighting isn't about you. It's not because you're too sensitive or too emotional. It's a strategy the abuser uses to serve their own needs. The gaslighter's playbook -7 tactics that dismantle your reality. Gaslighters don't just use one tactic. They have a whole playbook of strategies designed to confuse and control. These often start small and escalate, which is why they're so hard to spot at first. Let's unmask 7 of the most common tactics. #1. The outright denial. This is the classic gaslighting move. It involves flatly denying something happened when you both know it did. Imagine you see a message on your partner's phone from an unknown number with a heart emoji. The next day you ask about it. Instead of explaining, they look at you with a blank stare and say, "That never happened. You must have been dreaming." The denial is so absolute, it's designed to make you question the evidence of your own eyes. It's not just a lie. It's a direct challenge to your sanity. #2. Trivializing and minimizing your feelings. This tactic invalidates your emotional responses. Whenever you express hurt or concern, they dismiss your feelings as an overreaction. You'll hear things like, "You're being too sensitive. You're making a big deal out of nothing. It was just a joke. You have no sense of humor." If your partner makes a cutting remark and you later say it hurts your feelings, they might respond with, "Oh, come on, you're too emotional." The message is clear. Your feelings are the problem, not their behavior. Over time, you start to believe this and suppress your own emotions because you no longer trust them as a reliable indicator that something is wrong. #3. Shifting the blame. Gaslighters are masters of avoiding accountability. When you try to hold them responsible, they will expertly twist the situation until you are somehow to blame. For instance, your partner forgets to pay a bill, resulting in a late fee. When you bring it up, instead of, "I'm sorry, I forgot," you get, "Well, you didn't remind me, and you know how stressed I've been. This is really on you for not being more supportive." Suddenly, their mistake is your failure. After a while, you may find yourself apologizing for things that were never your fault. For questioning your memory. Countering. This is a close cousin of outright denial, but is often more subtle. Instead of denying an event completely, the gaslighter chips away at the details, suggesting you're confused or misremembering. You might say, "You yelled at me yesterday," and they'll counter with, "I didn't yell. I raised my voice because you weren't listening." You always exaggerate. This constant questioning is like a slow drip acid on your confidence. Studies have even shown that pressure from a partner can cause us to accept misinformation as our own memory, proving how easily our recollections can be twisted. Eventually, you may stop trusting your own memory altogether. #5. Using others against you to bolster their version of reality and further isolate you. A gaslighter will often invoke imaginary or real allies. They claim other people agree with them, making you feel like you're the only one who sees things your way. They'll say things like, "Even John says you've been acting strangely lately," or "Everyone thinks you're wrong about this." This is a powerful isolation tactic. It creates an us versus you dynamic and makes you less likely to reach out to your friends and family for a reality check, leaving you trapped with the abuser's voice as the only one you hear. #6. Withholding and stonewalling. This is a more passive but equally destructive tactic. It involves the gaslighter refusing to engage, pretending not to understand, or shutting down the conversation entirely. You might try to bring up a serious issue, and they'll just stare at you and say, "I have no idea what you're talking about." Or they'll give you the silent treatment for days. This tactic makes you feel unheard and unimportant, which further diminishes your sense of self-worth. #7. The concern disguise, perhaps. The most manipulative tactic is when the gaslighter frames their abuse as genuine concern. After denying an event or trivializing your feelings, they might say in a soft, caring tone, "I'm just worried about you. You seem so forgetful lately," or "I think you might need to talk to someone." This is a devastatingly effective move because it plays on your own fears about your mental state. It reframes their cruelty as kindness, allowing the abuse to continue disguised as love and support. The destruction of the mind and the relationship gaslighting isn't just a series of manipulative arguments. It's a systematic process of psychological demolition. The long-term effects are profound, fundamentally altering a person's mental health and their ability to connect with others. How gaslighting destroys the mind. 1. The erosion of self-trust. The primary casualty of gaslighting is your ability to trust yourself. When you're repeatedly told that what you see and feel is wrong, you begin to doubt your own sanity. It's like a computer virus, slowly corrupting your operating system. You can no longer trust your instincts or judgment, creating a terrifying internal state of confusion. 2. Chronic anxiety and hypervigilance. Living in a gaslit reality puts your nervous system on constant high alert. You're always waiting for the next attack. This creates a state of chronic anxiety and hypervigilance, where you're constantly scanning for threats because the place that should be safest has become the most unpredictable. 3. Depression and learned helplessness. As your self-worth is chipped away, a deep sense of hopelessness can set in, leading directly to depression. This is often compounded by learned helplessness. After repeatedly trying to assert your reality and failing, you may subconsciously learn that nothing you do matters and stop trying to change your situation, leading to a state of passive resignation. 4. Cognitive dissonance and trauma. Gaslighting forces you to live in a state of cognitive dissonance, the stress of holding two contradictory beliefs at once. I know he loves me, and I know his behavior is deeply hurting me. This internal war is exhausting and traumatic. For many survivors, the psychological fallout is so severe that it can lead to symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, or complex PTSD, CPTSD. The ongoing invalidation and stress can mimic the effects of other traumas, leading to flashbacks, emotional numbness, and an intense fear of future relationships. How gaslighting destroys relationships. 1. The annihilation of trust. Trust is the bedrock of any healthy relationship. Gaslighting is a direct assault on this foundation. How can you trust someone who consistently lies to you and makes you feel crazy? You can't. The relationship becomes a minefield of deception where genuine intimacy is impossible. 2. Profound isolation. A key strategy and result of gaslighting is isolation. The gaslighter works to sever your connections to the outside world because a support system is a threat to their control. You also begin to self-aside out of shame and confusion. This leaves you completely dependent on the abuser, creating a closed loop where their voice is the only one you hear. 3. A control-based power dynamic. A healthy relationship is a partnership of equals. Gaslighting transforms it into a hierarchy. The gaslighter assumes the role of the authority on reality, while the victim is relegated to the role of the unstable subordinate who needs to be managed. The relationship is no longer about love and respect. It's about control and submission. 4. The death of emotional intimacy. True emotional intimacy requires vulnerability and safety. Gaslighting makes this impossible. You'll learn very quickly that being vulnerable is dangerous. Your feelings will be dismissed and your words twisted, so you shut down. You build walls around your heart to protect what little sense of self you have left. The relationship may continue on the surface, but the emotional core has been hollowed out. The path forward, how to reclaim your reality recognizing you're being gaslit, is a painful but powerful awakening. It's the moment you stop blaming yourself and see the manipulation for what it is. But what's next? Reclaiming your reality is a process that requires courage and a deliberate strategy. Here are 5 essential steps. 1. Reconnect with your inner compass. The first and most crucial step is to start trusting yourself again. For so long, you've been told your instincts are wrong. Now, you must make a conscious choice to listen to them. That knot in your stomach, that feeling that something is just, is not paranoia. It's your internal alarm system screaming that something is wrong. Honor it. When you walk away from an interaction feeling confused or crazy, pause and tell yourself, my feelings are valid. I feel this way for a reason. 2. Document your reality when your reality is constantly denied. You need an objective record of it. This isn't for winning an argument with the gaslighter. That's usually a futile effort. This is for you. Get a private journal or use a password-protected app. Write down what happened, the date, the time, what was said, what was done. For example, Tuesday, 8 p.m., he said he'd pay the bill. Friday, I got a late notice. When I brought it up, he said we never had that conversation. Then, write down how it made you feel. Reading this back later provides undeniable proof of the pattern and anchors you to the truth. 3. Set and enforce boundaries. You can't change a gaslighter, but you can change how you respond. Setting firm boundaries means refusing to participate in the crazy-making game. Have some clear, non-negotiable phrases ready. When you're being gaslit, don't get drawn into debating the past. Simply state your boundary and disengage. Here are some powerful phrases. When they deny your reality, we remember that event differently. When they attack your memory, my memory is clear on this, and I'm not going to argue about it. When they dismiss your feelings, I'm not going to have my feelings trivialized. They are valid. A general shutdown. I'm not willing to have this conversation while I'm being disrespected. The key is to state the boundary and then disengage. Walk away. End the call. They will likely escalate to test your resolve. But by consistently enforcing these fences, you teach them their tactics no longer work on you. 4. Break the isolation. Isolation is the soil where gaslighting thrives. To kill it, you have to expose it to outside perspectives. It is critical to reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or a mental health professional. Say to them, I need a reality check. This is what's been happening, and I feel like I'm going crazy. Hearing someone else react with shock or concern on your behalf is an incredibly powerful form of validation. It's external confirmation that you are not the problem. Professional help from a therapist who specializes in emotional abuse is one of the most effective steps you can take. 5. Make an empowered decision. Once you begin to reclaim your reality and build a support system, you're in a stronger position to make a clear-eyed decision about the relationship's future. You have to ask yourself, is the gaslighter capable of change? This would require them to acknowledge their behavior and commit to extensive professional help. This is rare, so you must ask yourself another question. What will my life look like in 5 years if this continues? If the answer is a continued erosion of your mental health and happiness, then leaving the relationship may be the only path to safety. This decision should be made with the support of your therapist and allies. If you decide to leave, create a safety plan. Leaving an abusive relationship is an act of radical self-love. It's choosing your sanity over a connection that is actively destroying you. We've pulled back the curtain on the confusing landscape of gaslighting, and the central message is this. You are not crazy. Your feelings are real, your memories are valid, and you are not alone. Gaslighting is a vicious form of psychological abuse designed to dismantle your reality for the purpose of control. It thrives in silence and confusion, but today you have given it a name. You've seen its tactics exposed. In that knowledge, there is immense power. Healing is a journey of rediscovering yourself, learning to trust your own mind again, reconnecting with your emotions, and rebuilding a sense of self that is anchored in your own truth. It takes time and courage, but every step you take on this path is a victory. You deserve to be in relationships where you feel safe, respected, and seen. You deserve a reality that is stable and a mind that you can trust. Healing is possible, and a life free from this manipulation isn't just a dream, it is your right. If this video resonated with you, and you feel safe doing so, please consider sharing a thought in the comments. Your story could be the lifeline that helps someone else feel less alone. Please don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe for more content dedicated to building healthy, empowering relationships. Finally, if you are in a situation involving emotional abuse, please know that help is available. Your safety is the top priority. We have included links to mental health resources and domestic abuse hotlines in the description below. Making that call is a declaration of your strength and your will to heal. Thank you for watching, and be kind to yourself.